You awaken in a room alongside two others. You're all wearing animal-themed helmets and suddenly your vision is overtaken by the Game Master, Me. She explains that the goal of the game is to find the mastermind among the 9 participants and kill them, or in other words, kill me. If you, for whatever reason, fail, you will surrender your right to live. Everything is going just as you planned. Even from the premise alone, Birth Me code is likely to spark interest. You're a participant in a death game scenario. Think Zero Escape or Danganronpa. But the game lets you know right away that you're playing as the mastermind behind everything. Part of a trilogy alongside Head as Code and a currently unannounced third game, Developer Miracle Moon's visual novels show a great deal of love for the genre. Gameplay in Birth Me code consists of 3 main portions. The first is deduction rooms, a sort of escape room for 1 to 3 people where the goal is to find the answer to a question provided by me. The second has you make choices to raise your trust with other participants. Every so often, your group will vote to kill a member, hoping to kill the mastermind. The outcome of this isn't determined directly by choices, but by who you've built your trust with. Finally, you occasionally solve puzzles based on moving letter and number tiles to spell things on a grid. These branching outcomes are assisted by a flowchart, which gives the option to jump pretty much anywhere you've previously unlocked. However, the flowchart has some quirks that can make knowing what to do perhaps more complicated than necessary. Navigating the flowchart is just a little tedious, especially when you're required to constantly make new saves to attempt alternate paths. Sadly, that's a problem pervasive throughout the entire game. Aside from the unintuitive flowchart, some of the tile puzzles felt far too esoteric for me to understand. Each puzzle shows the tiles you have in play and provides 3 hints, the title of the puzzle and 2 optional hints. However, forgive me if sort C to V doesn't instantly make me want to sort consonants then vowels alphabetically. The deduction rooms were generally fine, but I dreaded these tile puzzles as they bring the pacing to a halt, which is a real shame as the story did keep me engaged throughout. Aside from a lack of commas making some sentences feel run on, the prose was easy enough to read. Each character has a clearly defined voice, and despite using pseudonyms based on the 7 deadly sins, I remembered them all quickly enough. The deduction rooms are also filled with references to other visual novels. Depending on your taste, this can either be charming or annoying. It sometimes gave the impression that the game didn't always have a joke of its own, and would just nab one from an adjacent visual novel. To me, Birth Me code starts slow but finished far too quickly. By that, I mean it takes a while for the exciting elements of the game to show up, not helped by the confusing flowchart slowing things down. But on the other hand, the ending drops so much information at once that it too feels overwhelming. Comparing it to Zero Escape once more, that series is famous for its useless info dumps, but at least there, it's clear what parts are essential by the end. In Birth Me code, so much is shoved at you that I'm not sure what elements to pay attention to. Birth Me code offers a decent layer of death game aesthetic that falls apart in a few places. The obtuse puzzle design creates a painstakingly difficult experience that just left me scratching my head, but yet I was entertained enough to see how it all ended. Sadly, the rushed conclusion doesn't pair with the slow pacing and creates an info dump that had me rethinking everything that I thought I knew about the story so far. If you're a diehard fan of ontological mysteries, think, you wake up in a room, you'll probably come away from the game with a somewhat positive experience. After all, the developer also seems to be a die-hard fan of ontological mysteries. But please, for goodness sake, try to read slowly when you get to the finale. Noisy Pixel is giving Birth Me code a 6 out of 10.